Is it true that one of BTS members has been under so much pressure that he finally gave up in silence? What really happened to Kim Taehyung during his trip to Paris? And why couldn't Jungkook hold back his tears after hearing it all? That night, the Weverse screen became a silent witness to a shocking confession that left millions of ARMYs stunned and disbelieving. Taehyung's opening sentence hit hard. "I can't take it anymore." No one expected a seemingly normal live broadcast to turn into the most emotional and heartbreaking moment of the year for BTS fans around the world. Behind the always stunning visuals and calm smile he often shows, Taehyung was hiding a pain so deep. And Paris, a city long associated with beauty and art, turned out to be the witness of the collapse of the BTS's emotional defenses. When the live stream began, many thought it would just be a short update. There was no luxurious background, no professionally designed lighting, just Taehyung, a camera, and a silence that pierced the ears. But from that silence, slowly, one by one, the truths began to emerge. An incident that had been hidden from media cameras, yet left emotional scars invisible to the public eye. Taehyung started with a tone of voice that was unusual, hoarse, heavy, and sounding as though he was holding back tears. He greeted ARMYs as usual, but soon after, the look in his eyes changed. A look that perhaps only those who truly paid attention all this time would recognize. "I want to be honest tonight. I can't keep pretending," he said softly. Millions of viewers immediately tensed up. What did he mean? What had he been holding in? A few minutes later, it was revealed that during his schedule in Paris, specifically while attending a luxurious fashion event, Taehyung experienced something unimaginable. "I'm not just physically tired, but also mentally. Something happened in Paris that completely broke me," he said. And that sentence became the turning point of the broadcast. International media had indeed reported on Taehyung's appearance at one of Paris's prestigious fashion events. He looked dazzling as always, wearing designer clothes, surrounded by cameras, journalists, and public attention. But what the media didn't see was the moment after the event ended, when Taehyung returned to his hotel with a gloomy face, tired steps, and an expression that hinted at a tremendous burden. A staff member who accompanied him confirmed that something had happened backstage. Taehyung was treated in a way we felt was highly inappropriate. There was tension. There were comments that should never have been said to an artist of his stature, the staffer stated anonymously. We knew he was deeply troubled, but he held it in at the time. When Taehyung talked about the incident on Weverse, he didn't name names or directly point fingers, but his words were enough of an alarm. Sometimes people forget that behind the big name and camera spotlight, I'm still human. I have limits, and that night, I felt those limits were crossed. That sentence made many ARMYs cry with him. In the comment section, thousands of support messages poured in. "You're not alone, Tae. We're here for you. And speak up, don't keep it all inside." But what shocked fans even more was when Jungkook appeared hours after Taehyung's broadcast. On his Instagram, he uploaded a black and white photo with a short but meaningful caption. "Sometimes, silence isn't strength. I'm sad, very sad." Shortly after, fans began speculating that Jungkook had already known what Taehyung went through in Paris, but chose to remain silent to respect his friend's privacy. A source within the fan community revealed that Jungkook and Taehyung had intense communication before the Weverse livestream. In fact, it's rumored that Jungkook was the one who encouraged Taehyung to finally speak to the public. He wanted Tae to know that it's okay to show weakness, the source said. Jungkook is more protective of Taehyung than people realize. Taehyung's broadcast that night wasn't just a confession, but a kind of emotional outcry from an artist who had been bearing the burden alone for too long. He admitted that since starting his solo career while military enlistment loomed, he had been haunted by tremendous pressure. "I feel like I've lost myself," he said. "Every time I try to smile, I feel like I'm lying to myself." What was even more heartbreaking was when he said that Paris, a city he once loved, now felt cold and unfamiliar. "I used to dream of performing there, being among the world's great artists, but the reality wasn't as beautiful." This sentence hinted that besides professional pressure, there might have been injustice or even discrimination he experienced in that international environment. At the end of his broadcast, Taehyung looked into the camera with teary eyes and said, "I know I have to be strong, but I also know I need time." Thank you for listening. But behind the support, criticism emerged toward the entertainment industry for demanding perfection from idols. Korean cultural observer Lee Min-ho said, "Taehyung's case reveals the dark side of the expectations placed on Korean artists abroad. There's pressure to always be perfect, and that can destroy anyone's mental health." Jungkook didn't just show support via social media. He was reportedly granted special permission from his military unit to directly contact Taehyung and even sent him a personal letter. He was devastated, said someone close to Jungkook. He felt guilty for not being by his friend's side when he was needed most. To this day, bighit has not released an official statement. However, the company is said to have held an emergency meeting to review the safety and comfort of their artists while abroad. A bighit spokesperson stated, "We deeply appreciate Taehyung's bravery and will continue to support him through this emotional recovery." Taehyung is now reportedly choosing to take a break from social media and public activities. He wants to focus on healing himself, especially before entering his scheduled military service. "I don't want to enlist in the military with a heart that's not yet whole," he said during the broadcast. What shattered hearts even more was when Taehyung tried to sing a song before ending the live stream, a song he couldn't finish because his voice was choked with sobs. "Sorry, I can't finish it," he said while bowing his head, then ended the stream. After hundreds of thousands of armies cried, millions of others were emotionally swayed, and the internet was flooded with theories and tremendous moral support for Kim Taehyung and Jungkook. One crucial question must finally be answered. Is everything written and spread above really true? Or are we being trapped in an emotional narrative that has no basis in factual truth? Unfortunately, verifiable facts show that there is no official statement, video evidence, or authentic documentation that confirms such a dramatic story as described above. There was no Weverse live broadcast showing Taehyung saying, "I can't take it anymore." No Instagram post from Jungkook saying, "Sometimes silence is not strength," and no accountable sources confirming that Taehyung experienced a negative incident in Paris as described. Taehyung was indeed present in Paris for fashion and media events, but all reports from Korean, French, and international media outlets actually showed that he was warmly welcomed and became the center of attention at various events. He even looked cheerful and friendly to fans and the media. No reports mentioned a gloomy demeanor or alleged unpleasant incidents during his stay there. Furthermore, there is no statement from bighit Music or hybe labels addressing Taehyung's mental health condition, complaints about Paris, or any personal events as dramatically portrayed in the narrative above. If a major incident truly occurred that emotionally impacted the artist, the agency would typically release an immediate clarification or official statement to maintain public stability and protect the artist. But to date, not a single official statement has been issued. Meanwhile, Jungkook, who is currently serving in the military, also never made any emotional comment or post as claimed. His Instagram account has shown no activity since his enlistment, and the South Korean military enforces strict communication protocols for its personnel. Therefore, the claim that Jungkook posted a certain phrase and later deleted it cannot be proven by any legitimate screenshot or credible media report. Such phenomena often stem from fan-made narratives or fanfiction written in a journalistic style that appears to be official news reports. The emotional, poetic, surprise-filled, and personally touching language style is often used to build reader attachment. However, when readers cannot distinguish between fiction and fact, the risk of information manipulation becomes significantly high. Many armies eventually realized that they were being played by an overly dramatic narrative, and some began reminding each other to maintain information accuracy and not easily believe content with unclear sources. It is true that BTS members, including Taehyung and Jungkook, are human beings who can feel tired, sad, or pressured. But creating dramatic stories about their suffering without valid foundation can actually harm their own reputation. Fans who spread such stories without verification may trigger unnecessary worry. worsen public perception, and even intrude on the privacy of artists who are not in the situations described. More importantly, spreading untrue narratives in the name of empathy actually discredits real emotional struggles. If one day Taehyung or any BTS member truly wants to share their personal stories, they have the right to do so in their own way, in their own time, not because they are forced by the tide of rumors. Therefore, we urge all readers, especially ARMY, to always be wise in consuming and sharing news. Verify sources, check the truth of the information, and don't be easily swayed by clickbait narratives, no matter how touching they feel. Emotions are important, but accuracy is far more crucial. Taehyung never said, "I can't take it anymore" on camera. Jungkook did not cry over that broadcast. Paris was never the backdrop for a dark event as described. All of that is just a narrative built to evoke emotion, not reality.